Hello, Michelle here. Today I wanted to make a video about the female narcissist. I get a lot of guys in my coaching practice that tell me, Michelle, I do everything to make her happy. I bend over backwards. I do whatever she says and wants, and yet nothing I do is ever enough. I can't seem to make her happy. And the reason that happens is because the man in the relationship has one goal. His goal is to make her happy. But what he doesn't realize is that the female narcissist has a completely different goal. Even though she says she wants to be happy, even though she tries to make you feel like you're responsible for her lack of happiness, her goal is not to be happy. Her goal is to create chaos. Today I want to talk about 5 ways that the female narcissist creates chaos out of nowhere. So without further ado, let's get started. The first way that the female narcissist creates chaos is by this unspoken, unwritten set of rules that she has. She will begin to criticize everything you do and almost dictate every move and every thought that she thinks you should have. So if you do something, she'll say, oh, but you didn't do it this way. Or if you say something, you said it, but you didn't say it in this tone. And she will criticize your way of loving her as if nothing you do is good enough. Men caught in this cycle of chaos will strive harder and harder. They will enter the famous hamster wheel of striving to please this person without realizing that every time they learn one rule and they put it into practice, it changes. Once again, that's evidence. That's clear evidence that she's not looking for you to get it right. She's looking for reasons to argue. The second thing female narcissists do to create chaos is when they have their narcissistic rage. They will scream, yell, hit, break things, and at the same time blame you for it. They will make you responsible for their behavior. If you hadn't hurt them the way you hurt them, they would never have acted that way. If you hadn't said a certain thing, they never would have acted that way. So they become verbally and physically aggressive and abusive and yet blame you for it. The third way female narcissists create chaos is in the way they converse with you. If you're having a disagreement and you're trying to reason with her, get through to her, get her to see your viewpoint, if she lets you speak, and I stress the word if she lets you speak, she's not really listening. She's not really caring about your viewpoint, how you feel. She's not trying to understand you. She is pausing. It's like they hit the pause button, they allow you to speak, and then they continue on as if you never said anything. So it's chaotic because trying to have a mature, reasonable, calm conversation with them never happens, no matter how hard you try. After they pause and you speak, the conversation often turns into a never-ending monologue with them criticizing and telling you everything that you do is wrong. And this one leads me into the fourth thing that female narcissists do to create chaos. While they're criticizing you, while they're pointing out all of your defects, all of the things you never do that are good enough or right, what you start to realize is that they don't do that either. They may say something like, you never say I love you in the morning, but they don't either. You never do this, but they don't either. So everything is one-sided. You're punished for what you don't do, but the fact that they don't do it either is irrelevant. And woe to any man that brings it up and points it out that they don't do it either, because that will only provoke narcissistic rage and a longer and more vicious monologue. The fifth thing that female narcissists do to create chaos is at the end of this crazy, chaotic conversation that you're having, they'll begin to get very emotional. They'll cry. They'll tell you that you're breaking their heart. You're hurting them so much. You're devastating them. You're hurting them the way no one else has hurt them. Forget the fact that they've slapped you, spit in your face, said horrible things to you. Somehow you're the one that's breaking their heart. And anything they're doing to hurt you, once again, is irrelevant. At this moment, a good guy is going to feel bad. He's going to feel guilty. He's going to feel sad to see her hurting, which is exactly what she's hoping he feels, so that he re-enters that hamster wheel and tries harder and harder, and the cycle only goes around and around. The sad thing is that the more you enter or re-enter that hamster wheel, the less you are you. because you are stopping things that make you you, because you're being criticized for being you, and you are striving to be what she thinks you should be. And no matter how close you get to that image that she thinks you should be, that image gets changed. I've spoken to so many men that tell me they entered the relationship with a female narcissist feeling confident, having a good self-esteem, being assertive, knowing who they are. And by the end of the relationship, they have no confidence, no self-esteem. They don't even feel like men. They feel like their manhood has been stripped from them, and yet they don't understand why they still want to be in the relationship. If you don't realize the dynamics, if you don't realize that the ultimate goal of the female narcissist is to live this way, they are completely happy living this way, even though they cry and tell you you're hurting them, even though they seem so miserable and everything is an argument and there's so much chaos, you think they're not happy. They're actually happy. That's what they're used to in life, and that's what makes them comfortable. If you don't realize that those dynamics are not going to change, you run the risk of staying in a relationship which ultimately is nothing but chaos. You ultimately run the risk of living that life for years, decades, because they're not going to change. The only way to get healthy, the only way to find happiness and build yourself up is when you empower yourself to take charge of your life instead of waiting for that other person to change.